Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello students, welcome to today's class. My name is Shafa Rihadatul Aisy and you can call me Teacher Shafa. So, as you can see from the title, today we're going to talk about plant nutrition. However, in today's session, we're not going to talk about plant nutrients requirements, but we're going to focus on how the plant get or produce their own nutrients. And in today's class, I'm going to do a voiceover while showing you guys the materials. Okay, before we start, I think it would be better for us to say Basmalah first. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And don't forget to prepare your notes because at the end of the video, I have a little surprise for you. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, now, as you can see, there are several pictures of food on your screen. And we know that as a living thing, we need food to survive. Well, food is the source of raw materials that can be used to make new cells and tissues for our growth. Also, food is a source of energy. Animals and humans take in their food and digest it. And then the digested food will be turned into energy or used to make tissues and cells. But we knew that we never see the plant take in their food like humans do, right? Well, except for insect eater plant, we never really see them eat like us. So, how do plants get their food? Well, we can actually conclude that soil is the source of food for the plant. And also, there is an experiment done by a Dutch scientist. His name is Jean-Baptiste van Helmont. He planted a tree with a certain mass of soil and weighed both the tree and the soil. And after 5 years, he reweighed the tree and the soil and concluded that there is an increase in mass was due to the water it received. However, van Helmont was unaware that plants also take in mineral salts and carbon dioxide, or that they use light as a source of energy, and that plants can actually produce their own food through a process called photosynthesis. And because plants can produce their own food, they are called as autotroph. So photosynthesis is the process of converting carbon dioxide and water into food with energy from sunlight. And the word photo means light, and synthesis is the building up of complex food molecules from simpler substances, or it can also mean to put together. Okay, so far we knew that plants use simpler substances such as carbon dioxide and water and turn it into complex substances with the energy of sunlight. But how does the photosynthesis process occur? Well, to answer that question, we can see from this diagram. We can see that the sun is radiating its light onto the plant, and at the same time, the plant leaves take in carbon dioxide through a structure called stoma. And also, the root takes in water and transport it into the leaf. And after that, the photosynthesis process will occur. Okay, before going into the chemical reaction of the photosynthesis process, there is one thing that plays a big part in photosynthesis called chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is a green pigment that can be found on plants. And the role of chlorophyll is to convert the sunlight that has been captured by the leaf into chemical energy. The chlorophyll itself can be found in chloroplast, which is located in mesophyll tissue. So here is the structure of the chloroplast. Okay, here we can see the chemical reaction that happens during the photosynthesis process. So first, the carbon dioxide and water will be transformed with the help of energy converted from the sunlight by chlorophyll into a more complex substances, which are glucose and oxygen. So the products of photosynthesis process are glucose and oxygen. Later on, glucose will be produced into energy in another process called cellular respiration. However, we're not going to talk about that in this session. And because we know that the energy of plant came from glucose, how do we know that the plant stores glucose? Well, to prove it, we can do it through an experiment. There are actually a lot of experiments that we can do to prove the photosynthesis products. This time, though, we're just going to focus on proving the glucose. And the experiment is called Sachs Experiment, or starch proving experiment. And because we cannot conduct the experiment in the classroom, I have provided a video that will show you how the experiment was done. And well, alright, let's just play the video. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into the procedure, and I'm gonna pause it so that I can explain the procedure to you. Okay, so first things first, there are several materials that we have to prepare. The first one is a beaker, and then petri dish, and then Bunsen burner, tripod, wire gauze, and also, of course, leaf. And also you have to prepare a test tube and tweezer. And we also have to prepare water and alcohol and iodine solution. So, the first thing that you have to do is to prepare a leaf that has been exposed to the sunlight for hours or even days. The next step that you have to do is to boil the leaf in water using a beaker. The purpose of this step is to break down the cell membrane and stop chemical reaction to occur. After the leaf withered, then we have to remove the chlorophyll from the leaf. And to do that, we have to boil the leaf in alcohol using a test tube. But since alcohol is flammable, we have to boil the test tube inside of a beaker filled with water. Why? Because in that way, we can prevent the alcohol to have a direct contact with the flames. If the color of the alcohol has changed into a greenish color, it means that the chlorophyll has been washed off from the leaf. Okay, this step is not shown in the video, but before we add the iodine solution onto the leaf, we have to make sure that there is no remaining alcohol on the leaf. So please rinse the leaf using water. And the last step is to add a few drops of iodine solution onto the leaf. And if starch or glucose is present, the color will be changed into black. You can actually try to do the experiment by covering a half part of the leaf and letting the other half exposed to the sun. And then do all the steps that we have already watched before. And the color change resulted might differ even though it is still on the same leaf. So, before we end up this session, just like what I have said at the beginning of the video, I have a surprise for you, which is quiz time. Here I have provided you the QR code of the quiz that you can screenshot or scan using your phone. And also I have provided the link if you cannot scan the QR code, and all of the questions will be related to the materials that we have learned in this video. And this quiz will be the assessment of today's class. To end up this session, let's say Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. I would like to say thank you for watching this video, and I do really hope that today's class will be meaningful, helpful, and useful for you. Once again, thank you, and see you guys in the next class. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye! Here's the list of references that I use in this video. If you're curious, you can just go directly into one of the links. See ya!